You're listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I'm going to empower you and teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality to reveal the steps you need to let go of your perceived limitations. Have you had the limiting self-talk over and over? Have you noticed you allow your fears to hold you back? If you're truly ready for change, I invite you to join me, Tracy L. Clark, and start your journey of transformation now. Welcome to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host, Tracy L., and you're in for a treat today. We have an incredible guest with us, Ingrid Mare-Kenny. She's all the way from Monaco. We're going to learn how the French get it right. But as we always do on the show, is we bring people on that have truly changed their lives, because I want you to always understand that no matter where your valley is or where you're sitting, there's always transformation for you. One of the things I say, though, we're not only talking about how we got to where we are and how we can help you get to where you are, but we also make sure that we shift the energy on each and every show. So if you hear something you like, you just have to say in your space, I like that, I'll take that, and the energy will start to transfer to you. So Ingrid is, yes, she's an NYU graduate from law school, and she was retired from the fashion and entertainment industry, but she's the founder of The Method. But there is so much more to Ingrid. So first, let's just bring her in. I am so grateful that you have agreed to join us here from Monaco. Welcome.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is so fun to be doing this with you.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said in the opening, is one of the things that I love so much is your story, how you got to where you are. And now being in Monaco, and you're the founder of The Method, transforming body, soul, spirit, mind, getting into shape, but spending so much time in the States and growing up and then leaving and transferring. We hear this all the time. People say, how do the French do it? How do they eat? How do they live? How do they play? And one of the things I've noticed, you have a really large following on Instagram, and you're just exploding, because I've noticed you integrate, which North Americans suck at, play, body, mind, soul, and spirit, and then your work.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest thing you
Absolutely.
noticed when you moved over around that? Because you got a very good, I don't like balance, but harmony around integration. Was it just having to integrate into that lifestyle? What was that transition for you?
First of all, what you have to realize, like you said, my audience is great and it's large, but it's also in the United States. I have to say that maybe 85% of my audience is in the States. And so for me, the integration was more of a girl who lived her whole life in the States to French parents, because that's a big factor. The culture, even if you grow up in a French household in the States, stays very French. So it was somewhat of a very easy transition in the eating habits, the manners, the lifestyle. But for example, there are a few things here that are so different, especially because I'm from New York, is the pace of life. So that's the hardest thing I've had to integrate into. But the reason why I transmitted so well to you guys in North America is because I've been a North American, and I can now see and feel the distinct difference and tell you exactly what the difference is. So
and I think one of the keys I love about you, and you teach this too, is North America is still looking for quick fixes everywhere, right? Shortcuts, fix it, pills, whatever it is. And even in energy work, as you know what I do, and transforming, I always say it's a journey, it's a process. Some things move right away and some things take time. And I like how you educate people on it is a whole life journey, and it's not a quick fix, and it's not just downing shakes and all that. Like, you really get people to understand their body, which I love, because you know me as a body regen specialist, teaching people to connect with their body. What is it telling you? What do you find the biggest things are when you're talking with your clients in North America and they're like, but Ingrid, can I just take a pill, or can I just take a shake, or can I just and then have the weight just move, or my body gets stronger? So how do you deal with that in your business? Because I want to talk about your journey as well, but I want people to start to understand how you ended up here, because you didn't always live this beautiful life like I did. We had to go through our bumps. So how do you
and That's the beauty of it. That's not having had it. You know that. You've met me before I even started the method, before I even understood the need people had to not just pop a pill or go on a diet, but to understand everything else that it comes with. So for me, it's been the hormones, which is something I'm very big on, and you know that. Being the fact being is I'm not a 20 something year old. So when people used to look at the pictures, because as you know, I transferred into the business in the United States through the social media platforms, and that's pictures and videos. So people see the physical, attraction of it. But it's saying, you know what, first of all, it wasn't all roses to get here, to have this beautiful sea view behind me or whatever. But the same thing with the body. There's the hormones, there's the imbalance, there's the stress you put into your life that affects the size of your midsection. People have had a very hard time understanding it, but when they get to me, I'm really at I'm really the last, the last bit of the chain. They get to me when they've tried diet, when they've tried going on diet pills, and they've tried restrictions, and they've tried all types of different other things, all types of different workouts. And when none of that has worked, or none of that has actually worked in the long run, it might work for a period of time, and then you go back to your normal ways because you're human, and then you go back to looking the way you looked before, and with whichever way you're not happy with. So when they get to me, they're quite open to listen and eat and hear something different. And this is where I come in.
And what I love about what you educate people is also that it's a lifestyle. It's the way, it's not like, you're going to do it one time. It's how you live each and every day.
Yeah.
And that also incorporates the body and the mind. And you said something interesting with, pictures and the social media. And we know that this is one thing I love about you, and I want you to explain more, is social media. We don't know what's fake. We don't know what's real. It's very hard. And you live, and I know you because I've known you for a long time. You live, and this is why I want people to understand this. They look at these pictures and they think you've lived like this your whole life. And they're like, I can't achieve that. I can't get there. How did she do this? She lives this beautiful, beautiful life. And you do. And you're the real thing. That's, I said that yesterday. You live, talk, walk, you do everything that you put out there. And it's hard now because it's hard to decipher. It's like, was that, somebody said the other day, he was a coach, I was listening to him, and he was talking about how these people are posting these pictures. They have planes behind them and boats. And because he could tell how they were all like, photoshopped in. But the average person would be very, very tough. And so I love that you're always posting real life pictures, whether you're out with your family, whether you're working with clients. But this was your journey. And I really would love, because I like people to understand how they transfer their journey. What were some of the biggest hurdles that you came before you actually found, I call your dream, your mission of really transforming lives the way you do?
Yeah, you know what, I think the reason why I decided to be authentic, that it's a word that's used so much on social media today, but there's no other word to use. To be authentic, to bring authenticity to Instagram, on my Instagram, on my social media. Obviously Instagram is my platform, my favorite platform, because with the life stories, people, if you let them in, they get to see what your way of life is, which is great. Okay, right now my way of life is wonderful, but you can share, and then from the response you realize how much people need to hear the truth. For example, when I had a miscarriage back in June, I lost a baby, almost 3 months. It was a pregnancy that was very much wanted, and I had two choices. I had the choice of using my stock pictures of my previous vacation in Capri for the time of recovery, or I had the choice of making a very raw and real video and say, guys, I just suffered a miscarriage. My body is not perfect, even though I treated the best I can. And this is what's been happening. And the response to that reality has been so great. So many women have come across and said, oh my gosh, this is resonating with me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling us that you're a real person and that this stuff also happens to you. And oh my God, how do you get this smile on your face right after? So, you know, this is kind of like what's done it for me, being authentic. And so going back to my life back in New York, it has not been easy. I was born and raised by wonderful parents and had a very nice childhood. But then going into adulthood, I had my child Dylan, my firstborn, very early. I was 19 when I got pregnant with him, and 2 years later, we found out he was on the spectrum of autism. And this is where my really tough journey started. So, coming from that, it has translated into what today is the method, what's the lifestyle, and very much so into talking to people about how their mind is going to control their body, how whatever they put out there is the life that they're going to be building for themselves. It has all come from that.
Yeah, and I love what you said about your son, and I do want to bring this up because you're a mother that did at all costs, and to make sure that you didn't. So often in life, people take, and I just said this the other day, they'll take a diagnosis or they'll take something, they're like, okay, that's it, you have it for life, that's it. And that's like almost their death sentence. And what I love about you is you didn't do that, because you do this in every area of your life. You look and say, no, I know I can do it better. And share it with our audience, because I know where he just went this fall. And I'd like you to share, because there's a lot of people listening that have children that are diagnosed with autistic or they're ADHD. And then they just go, okay, there's nothing I can do. But I want you to share a story, because this is such a beautiful message for people to hear. No matter what you're going through in life, never take anything you get as final, because I want Ingrid to share this with you, because it's beautiful. It's a miracle you'll want to take if you have children in this area.
It's definitely more than a success story in Dylan's case. He's 19 years old today. As you know, this year I've traveled with him to London, where he was accepted in one of the best law schools in the country, in the UK. But this was once the little boy who doctors told me would never function right, would never be able to live a normal life without assistance, would never speak another language, and now he speaks French fluently. I wasn't given much hope. And I was very young, but that's always been my mentality, as you know. I said, nope, there's no way. And the minute I said, no, there's no way, I turned on the TV and saw this amazing doctor on CNBC. It was like a morning show. And she was talking about autism, and they had put a video of Rain Man. You remember the movie
Yes,
with Dustin Hoffman, and that was all we knew about autism back then, because it was, Dylan was born in 1999. He was diagnosed around 2001. So she gets on and she says, I believe something can be done for those kids. I believe, she also said she believed it was because of the vaccinations, and that started a whole other debate. But I kind of listened to her and said, you know what, that's my message. I was right. There's something that can be done. And I was 22 years old. I found her. I went to see her in New York, and she we went through a very tough evaluation. Having to see your kid fail every single step of an evaluation that's going to tell you whether he's normal or not was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And it took us about 13 years of just therapies with occupational therapy, physical therapy, special education. He had a shadow in school. I had to fight also the school system in New York. They're so, gung-ho about labeling your children. And if I can say something to the moms, and I know you have a few because you wanted to introduce a few of them to me, don't let them label your kids, because one day if you want your child to go to Harvard, you won't be able to. And I was looking at my little boy saying, this little boy is going to be something big. Maybe he'll be a doctor, maybe he'll be a lawyer. I can't let him get labeled. So I went in the private sector. I worked 3 jobs. I got in trouble with the law doing it, but it was all worth it. And we just did all these private therapies. And at the age of 13, we reevaluated him. And this doctor looked at me and she said, it's miraculous. He's no longer on the spectrum of autism. He has something called now an auditory processing disorder, which can be corrected. It's almost nothing. 90% of the population walks around with that. And today he is, he graduated, he got his baccalaureate. He's going to law school. He's living by himself, and he is extraordinary.
Yeah, he is. And what I love about this story, and I hope everybody really listens to this, is that one, you followed the sign. You turned on the TV and you knew everything, and you live your life like this now. And I think when I look at it, this was your foundation of saying, Ingrid, follow the signs. It may not look the way you think, it may not feel the way you think, but you followed the signs, you went through. And even though, and this is, I believe, when we're transforming our lives, even though you said 13 years, like that's a long time, right? So although a lot of people would have given up, a lot of people, and you don't do this, you're tenacious like me, we just keep going, but you didn't give up, and you knew, like, your soul was screaming as a mom, I know there's more for my son. And this is one thing I want everybody to listen to. It's a huge, powerful message. Don't give up, because most people would give up long before they have their miraculous breakthrough. You listen to what that hand of God was telling you, that soul that's speaking in, and it transformed to your child having this incredible life. And now, heading to law school, and we know destined for great things and doing amazing. But you've applied this and these principles even to your business now and how you function in your world now. And so what would you say even to anybody that's listening, whether a business, a parent, what was it that just kept driving you not to give up? Ever. I don't mean just like with his story, but in your work, your career. What is the one
I use it for everything. I use it even with people. I watch people go on diets. They're constantly going on diets. I have people writing me messages. They're doing these equations of macros and calories and carbs. And, they don't look at a tomato for a tomato anymore. And it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with the way, I promise you, it was the same thing with Dylan. People forget they've put on the shelf their intuition. It's intuition. Follow it. It's nothing magical. It's nothing psychic. It's simply a human instinct. And people have gotten so used to relying on doctors, relying on professionals, relying on gurus, relying on formats and handbooks and rules. And it's like they forget their intuition. And as a mother, you owe it to yourself to first of all go with your intuition. As a mom, you will know better than a lot of the professionals that you're going to go to. You cannot tell a mother her child is not normal. Who decides what normal is, what the norm is? Society has made norms for everything, and that has stripped people away from their intuition. So I stayed with diet. I stayed a lot with business. I stayed a lot with your wants and needs. Today, people are being told what they need. They don't even feel it anymore.
Yeah.
It's insane. So with motherhood, I mean, do yourself a favor. Look at your child, believe in your child, and definitely rely on your intuition. A mother's intuition is something so powerful. And you know that, Tracy.
It is. And even like when we're with our children or our businesses, I would say our businesses are like babies, right? They need to be nurtured. We need to follow what's happening. And it's so true with what you said, exactly, that people want that to be spoon fed so much each and every day. And our world is moving so quickly. And if we were taught, and I always say, if we taught children at a very early age never to cut off their intuition, they know when they don't feel good around someone, they know if they don't feel like something, but then people discount. Imagine the change and transformation in our whole world that we would actually be able to have if people would follow that. But they don't even know where to start half the time. They're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I just felt that, but I discounted it because I read this article that said this, or I read somebody, I saw this post and it was this, so like that's truth. And even though it might be true for one person, it's not going to be true for another. And that's what I love about how you work with people. I want to know, I'm curious, so what's the biggest shift you see with people in North America, and how we were just talking about diets and all this stuff. And the French love their food. I know you love your food. I know you love your treats.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it, and I agree with you, a lot of it is we have so many belief systems and programmings. If I eat this one bit of sugar or have this glass of wine, or I, have an extra carrot today, I'm going to gain 5 pounds. So they have all this programming. What's one of the biggest, I guess, hurdles you see with people? Because body image is huge, and it really messes up so many women. Men, it does now too, right? Like I had a gentleman, with his wife not too long ago say to me, Trace, like, I don't look like that person on that magazine, and his wife could care less. But I didn't realize it was an issue for men as well. And it was reality for me. You probably hear and see that too. But the body image, then it also hits the self-esteem. And then, like you said, calorie counting. How do you even start with people anymore to deprogram all the thoughts, the processes? Like, we know low sugar, and now, eat sugar free, but we know it's got so much sugar and fat in it, but go eat real food, because you eat real food. I think that's the difference.
So it's really, it's the difference. It's eating real food, but also, like you said, it's reprogramming. Like, put the handbook away, there's a lot of noise. I keep on saying it. And as much as, all these social media is a great source of information, it's also very noisy. Everybody is pinching in their opinion, their expertise, their products that they want to sell to you. So what I kind of say to people is, if you look at the French, they linger. They take time. I keep on repeating that. It's a great example. If you come to France between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m., everything is closed. Everybody's out to lunch, from the mailman to the CEO. So it's kind of like telling people, okay, you've got something that's called a hormone. And the hormone is really what rules your body. It's not your intake of food. It is not how you look at food, how you weight it. I mean, people now, they have scales for their food. Is that crazy?
I know.
It's more about, your mindset.
Yeah.
So the thing is, usually it's easy for me to resonate with people because, like I said, I'm like at the end of that chain. So when they get to me, they're kind of ready to listen to what I have to say because they've tried everything else, keto diet, and they've gone on lactose-free, gluten-free, they've been counting macros. By the time they get to me, if I tell them, have you been going to the gym consistently 5 days a week? Have you been doing cardio like crazy? Have you been dieting? And none of it has worked. And as a matter of fact, maybe you even gained a little bit of weight. 90% of the time, people will go, yes, how did you know? I'm like, that's because those things that you've been doing are the reason why you're hitting a plateau in your weight loss. That's the reason why you're gaining weight. It's the stress level. For me, if I have to count my calories, if I have to weigh my food, it is so stressful that this little hormone called cortisol rises up through the roof. And this is what causes everything to kind of tumble down. Your insulin levels, which, as you know, is what's responsible for you gaining weight, it's everything is affected by the way you feel about it. So if you're constantly putting yourself on restriction, you're constantly saying, I'm not going to eat that, and you're gobbling down a salad for 10 minutes, that salad's going to make you fat. I know it sounds crazy, but by the time people get to me and I tell them this stuff, usually it's like they've already tried all that stuff and they know what I'm saying is true. They've gone to me because they've been dieting, they've been doing cardio, they've been lifting heavy weights. And so when they get to me, I'm like, you need to throw this all out and you need to relax. And just this reclaiming of your body, relaxing, not abiding by so many rules, just that alone liberates them. And sometimes people tell me after 2 months, like, why couldn't I think of that myself? Why did I need you to tell me to stop all that stuff?
Because you're programmed and you're bombarded. And then you start to think, how many other programs are we fed, whether it's our health, whether it's our finances, whether it's relationships, and the programs keep coming and coming and coming. And then people are just like, well, I read that, it's not working. I tried this, it's not working. I tried that, it's not working. And we see this in all areas of life, right? Where simplicity, like I can't even imagine, weighing out your food. And then you see the energy that comes in of, oh, I feel guilty or I feel shameful because maybe I weighed an extra little gram. Like, yeah, like you're saying, sending that stress level up. So what is a typical then, you said 2 hours, you guys get to unplug and you unplug and you take, is that a nap time? Is that a like to eat, to enjoy
No.
friends, your family? Like, what is that
Yeah.
space? Because I really believe North America could adopt it because people just work, 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 work. And I know when you lived here, you found that as well. It was like, go, 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 go. And you'd mentioned one
Yeah.
time that you had to recalibrate. Like, what is this? What? We're not going to go, 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 go.
Yeah, it was very hard for me. It still is sometimes. I mean, even when I ask Gilles, I say to him, you know, where are you having lunch? And he goes, oh, I'm going with this guy, my friend. I'm having lunch with him in such and such place. It still sounds so strange to me, very strange to me. I still have a hard time adjusting to it, but I still do it. This is the thing with the French. So I know for North American, and a lot of people have told me that it's hard for me. I cannot get away for 2 hours. But really, all you need, it's the mindset. It's not the amount of time. So in France, we do have that allotted time, 12 to 2. That's how it is. And you have to take it. So for example, I can't sit for 2 hours, but I'll go do my hair for, an hour. And I'll sit down and take the time to chew my meal just for my body to acknowledge that I'm taking some food in, that I'm satiating my hunger. So for the North American, you can adjust it to this fast-paced schedule because obviously you might want to stop, but the world's not going to stop for you. And you have this rat race. I get all that. So what I tell my clients that are in North America, there's a few things they need to do. Instead of restricting food, they need to look for better food. Go look for a farmer's market near you, or reach out to a farmer upstate, wherever you are, upstate New York, let's say, someone that's in New York or someone in California. Go and make a deal with that farmer, get better vegetables, get better meat. Chances are, if you're eating this quantity that you want, but of better food, you'll have more success losing your weight and relaxing more because you're not all on a diet perspective, all on a restrictive perspective. But sitting down and eating is the main thing. Step away from your computer, step away from your phone. I'm all for technology, you know that. I love my Instagram, I love my phone, we're on Skype, you and I are on Facebook, but you need to put it away and give your body the time it deserves. I say give your body the courtesy of some rest time. And that has been quite successful, even with people in North America. So I'm not saying to take the 2 hours break, but we're learning from the French. We're not saying let's do as the French, but learning from them. So take that 45 minutes. Do it.
I love it. Okay, we have to go for a quick break. And when we come back from break, Ingrid's going to share some of her little tips on when she has her pitfalls, how she gets out of them and the things that she does to boost you. But before we go quickly, can you give them your Instagram handle and then also your website where they can find you?
Yes. So my Instagram handle is my whole name attached. It's quite long. It's French. It's my husband's name. So it's Ingrid de la Mare-Kenny. Ingrid de la Mare-Kenny, all attached. So at Ingrid de la Mare-Kenny on Instagram. And the website is themethodmc.com.
All right. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I am here with Ingrid, founder, creator of The Method. Yes, you need to check it out if you want to get your body long and lean and in shape. I love Pilates. It is the best way, but she's more than that. One of the things when we left for break, we were talking about some of her tips and things that she would give to you guys around how you go from when you have an up in your life to sustain it and a down. And I know, Ingrid, you and I have talked before, the reason we became close is you came to me when you were at a real down, and talk about night and day. I always say I call you, I'm going to say this, so I call you kind of you've gone up and down, but the sort of that rags to riches story. And it's true. It sounds really funny, but But I mean that in every sense. I don't just mean that on monetary. I mean that in physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological, because I watched you birth this whole place that you're in now, this platform, the authentic space that you're in. And I really want people to understand that it has been a process for you. It has been a journey for you. And what was that like when you all of a sudden found yourself again in this place going, oh my gosh, I have to reinvent my life and my space? What was going through your brain? What was happening at that point?
You know what? That's the thing. It's very much, I've gone up and down a few times. So when I arrived here from New York, that was 6 years ago. I was coming out of a tough divorce, as every divorce is, and my drive has been the kids. You know, having these 3 children looking at me, and you don't tell your kids, "Oh my God, we're in trouble. Things are gonna get so bad." You tell the kids, "We're gonna be okay." So telling 3 children we're gonna be okay, either I'm going to be a liar or I'm going to make it okay. But I've noticed in all of my tough times that each time I kind of looked at things the wrong way, it was an obstacle, constant obstacle. I did not move on. But each time I kind of projected and manifested, magically something would happen. So many times I even thought, like, was that a vision? And it turns out, no, I'm not psychic. It was not a vision. It was more of like, the more you manifest towards what you want, the more you think yourself capable. It's just like diet, it's just like the body. The more you think yourself capable, the more likely you are to start seeing change. And I came to you, I think it was 6 years ago, actually, 5.5 years ago. I came to you at the time I needed someone to beat me up a little bit and remind me that, you know, looking the other way is not going to work, that I have to look ahead and I have it in my hands. The bottom line is I needed you to tell me that I wasn't just going to sit there and wait for it to happen. And you've done that for me, but you did it with so much kindness and so much love. Uh, but at the same time, you give me no choice. And that's helped me so much. I have to say, for me, what's always worked when I was going through the tough times was manifesting, but really believing it, not like going by a book and going, oh yeah, I'll write a
No,
list of all the stuff I want and, you know, all of this voodoo stuff. No, no, no.
no.
Truly manifesting and taking steps. Like I said to you, I remember I said to you, I want to open this company. You said, do it. So we hung up and I went and I created the website. Just that alone. I went and created the website. And then the next day you wake up and guess what? You're one step ahead. You've created the website. Now what else do you need? Well, you need customers. So I went on Facebook and I created an ad. But I had no company. So the ad made the company exist. And it's really all it was. So it's like, it's not just the manifesting, but it's like manifest and take one step forward. Manifest,
Yeah.
even if it seems ridiculous.
It's
That's how
those
I did it.
baby steps, right? And it's like, I remember
Yes.
you saying that, well, where do I go? I said, don't worry about where you go. Just take the step. Let the universe know, let spirit know that you're taking the step so you can have more. And that was one of the things that if anybody could really take away too, is you actually dropped into your heart space and said, okay, what do I in truth need to do? And as you know, it wasn't easy. It wasn't always easy to just get up and say, okay, I'm going to just create this site or I'm going to go get the customers. There was fear behind that. And
Yes.
what did you find that as that fear came up? The way I see it for you, and I want you to correct me if it's wrong, is that you were like, okay, this is a fear, because as we moved through that with you, we're like, this is a fear, but I know there's something better on the other side, so I must keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I have, you know, I think the biggest thing that has healed me, especially even in the work I've done with you, is fear, like stepping away from fear. Never to be driven by fear. And that's something I've learned much more in the past 6 years. I have been driven by fear, but let's go back to Dylan. When it came to
Yes.
Dylan, I didn't have time to be scared because this kid was going to turn, you know, 10 and he was going to get to a point where you cannot reverse a learning disability. So I had no time. So when you don't let fear drive you, and in this case I didn't, I was so focused and so racing against, you know, its clock, you know, is developmental clock, that there was no fear, so it worked. Each time I let fear drive me, I took a step back. And that's where you came in. You came in at that time where fear had totally taken me over. It was like, no, not again, not again. Am I, again going into this misery? And you said to me, you can't. Fear is in the past. Fear is what brings whatever was in the past back in the present. So it's up to you to put that fear away. So whatever happened in the past stays in the past, and it works.
Yeah, I love what you say. I did a mail out yesterday about your clock is running out. I'm sure people were like, what? And it was exactly that. I said, if we all had that clock, and I keep saying it up here, we might get our asses in gear and do more things that we want to do and accomplish, because like you said, you won't go, okay, I'm going to let that fear linger for another year, because you would actually see it ticking, because at some point we're all leaving the planet, right? So we all have a clock that's clicking down. And it's interesting that even when I see people that are struggling with their weight, for instance, but they have a fear of being thin, because then they've told themselves all these stories that, oh, if I'm thin, then I'm going to attract too many people. And then, people aren't going to like me. It's crazy what comes up. And I'm like, the fear has been driving society forever. And if that's one message is really, I've seen you break through it, I've had to break through it to people, is like, get out of this fear, because it's really, most of it ends up just in your imagination anyways. 90% of that stuff doesn't happen, but we lop onto that one experience, right, that we had, that maybe we lost our money, or maybe we lost a partner or a loved one or whatever, and then we keep carrying it like bad luggage forward, and then we never end up getting to where we want to go. Haven't you noticed that?
I mean, I'm guilty of it. I've been driven by fear so many times in my life, and that I failed. I definitely failed. But it's the same with dieting. So it's kind of like this vicious circle with dieting. People diet, they lose the weight, and as they've lost the weight, they live in fear of gaining it back. And so when they have a cheat meal, they have all these guilt coming through. And I mean, this is insane when you think about it. And then this whole thing is driven by fear. So when this diet has ever to do with fear, it has a lot to do with it. It's the same, and that's exactly what I'm trying to knock out of people's heads. Before I get into their bodies, I get into their heads, and I say, okay, we need to relax. The minute people relax,
you need to reprogram them all, right? And that's what I always say. We're like these little hackers that have to go into the body and go, what programs, what old software are you running? And we got to, debug you. Is that the right word? Debug you.
Debug you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. So absolutely.
And the tip that you actually do now when you find something in your fear camp pop up, where do you go to? What would you offer to people?
For myself, it's definitely knowing that fear is not my friend. So it's very easy to tell people, put the fear aside, because people are going to wake up, they're going to feel fear, whatever it is. I'm scared to not have enough money. I'm scared to eat too much. I'm scared I'm not going to make it on time. But at the end of the day, this takes so much away from your energy. For example, when you have fear about your diet, chances are it brings your cortisol level up, and that's what's going to make you gain weight. The same went with my life. As far as I'm concerned, each time I was driven by fear, it's totally blacked out that part of my brain that's constructive. So each time I just shut it down for 10 minutes so I can be constructive. Those 10 minutes I come up with a brilliant idea. So what I would say to people, like you said, baby steps. If you're someone who's usually driven by fear, give yourself 10 minutes of fearless and see what your brain comes up with. See what creative solutions your brain finds. And you know what? It works for me. Each time I let myself be driven by fear, like I did before I came onto this radio show, because I'm stage frightened. I said, you know what? I'm going to knock it down for the first 10 minutes so my creative solutions can come through. And they have. And it really works for me. Give yourself 10 minutes. Feel it. You feel it for 10 minutes.
What you say, I love that word, creative solutions. And even if they just ask, what's my creative solution? But dropping into the heart and going, okay, what is this really going to unfold? And that 10 minutes in the heart is huge. And it's not
Yeah.
meditation, it's actually connection, right? Of why am I afraid? Well, that's sort of silly because a lot of times people come back and they're like, oh, that's a little bit different. I didn't need
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
afraid of that. Nothing happened. Like you said, I know when people hear live, they go, oh my gosh, live. What happens if this and it's like, oh, whatever, it's life. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't matter. I want people to understand because I know when we're live and we run out of time so quickly. What was the number one drive for you to create the method? I know what it is, but I want people to understand this is your baby. It's been flourishing all over the world. It's people are understanding, like I said, bodies. What was the drive that said, this is my mission, this is where I want to be, and this is why?
So it's funny you should ask me that because I just had that conversation with a client this morning. You know, I used to work in fashion and I used to work backstage. I made people look beautiful. I dressed them. I worked on a few TV series. I dressed some celebrities for the Golden Globes. But I only gave them this confidence for whatever time they were wearing that hair, makeup, that dress, those high heels, and forever time, whatever time the camera was flashing. And then when the method came around, came into my life, like 19 years ago, a long time ago, people always looked at me. Those people I dressed that I admired on TV or on magazines always looked at me and said, "Well, what's your workout? What do you do? How come you can look so fresh at 4 a.m. in the morning while you're dressing us?" So when I arrived in Monaco, I realized I was dealing with, a crowd of very privileged people. As you know, Monaco is a beautiful place. People have money, they have time to spare to spend on their bodies, and all of them are going to Chanel and Louis Vuitton to make themselves look better. But at the end of the day, the core of this looking and feeling better did not exist here. Everybody went to trainers, everybody went through diets. There was something missing. And I realized that my demography, the fact that I wasn't a 25-year-old with abdominals, the fact that I was nearing 40, I was 36 at the time, the fact that I was nearing 40 made me so credible for these women. And so that's what I wanted to make people feel beautiful all the time, not just with the dress, not just with the shoes or the makeup. It's come to me that, in Monaco, where people could buy just about anything to feel great, that aspect to feel great on the inside, to reclaim control of your body, did not exist. There was a real need. So Monaco is what inspired it for me.
Yeah, and to really
And
put it into motion. And I'm going to plug this for you. I know you're not like this, but I love that you have this sort of online membership going with people so they can be with you and train with you. And you send out these newsletters. If you're not on our newsletter, you want to get on it because you talk a lot about, your food and what you eat and your recipes as well and your fitness. And you give these little flash workouts and they're a great way for people to really understand and connect with you. And I know at the end here, we'll
right.
make sure that they know how to find that. But I love that you really open your life that way and you're not 20. And, it is easy. A lot of times you're like, well, they're 21 and you've had 3 children.
Yeah.
And it's like, it really shows people that you can have it all. You can have whatever you want, whether it's the body, the lifestyle, the health, the fitness, whatever. You can have it all when you really make yourself a priority. And how many times do you find that people, even when they get to you, they're probably at the bottom of their priority list. And so no
Yeah,
wonder
it's insane because people, when they get to me, they're at the bottom of their priority list completely. They've spent thousands of dollars on Amazon getting supplements and protein powders and probiotics and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, they haven't gone to the root. They haven't treated it from within because they think it's a huge thing. They think I spend 5 hours at the gym. Um, so with the newsletter, what the virtual platform does, everything takes about 10 minutes, 20 minutes to show people that you can give your body again the courtesy of those 20 minutes. This free flash workout, I've made them free because I wanted people to see that it doesn't take very much to trust your body a little more and to just drive it to the results that you want rather to go look for those magic pills, magic potions, magic formulas on handbooks. It's much simpler than that. And that's why I love the whole free area that I offer, first of all, I've learned, and I've learned it from you as well, that the more I give out for free, the more information, the more guidance I give to people for free, I gain it somewhere else,
You
you know?
do.
So and it's super rewarding for me. It's turned this into a mission rather than a job, although we're all in it to make some money, of course. You know, I'm a mom, I have to feed my kids, but the mission has become such passion. And so this is why, like you said, there's so many easy information that I put out there. Like the recipes are not 1 hour and a half, because a woman who's working, who has 2, 3 kids at home, is not going to have an hour and a half to prepare a meal. My dinners take me about
No.
20 to 30 minutes every night. Every night. And I have no one helping me other than my daughter Savannah, who cuts the vegetables for me. You know,
Well,
and
your
but I'm
daughter's
saying, so, you know, it kind of shows people, by being transparent, showing them a little bit of my life, it shows people you only need to give your body about 30 minutes. 30 minutes to cook your meal, 20 minutes to do a flash workout, 45 minutes to sit down and chew on your food and look at the person you're eating with. And all of that, believe it or not, will affect your body, will affect your weight. More importantly, your midsection. This is all related to your cortisol level, which is your stress hormone. And when people think stress, they think anxiety, sadness, fight. No, your digestive system is responsible for that cortisol level. The way you feel about the food that you eat, let's say something is not looking really good or is a little dull, this will rise, this will bring your cortisol level up. So make sure that you're enjoying what you're eating, that it's pleasant to your eyes. Don't go eat a salad for lunch. Salad will not make
No.
you skinny.
And I think one of the things that you touched on, it's true. And we're in such a instant now, go, go, go. Like, so in North America, there's a drive-through of something on every corner. And people,
Yeah.
you see them in their car and they're like driving and they're rushing, they're downing food, or they're at home, and they're like, gone are those days where, like you said, people sit at the table and interact with each other. They're on their phones or they're watching shows and they're like downing their food and they're done in 5 minutes. And young thing, like that's got to have a lot of stress on the body. And it's not, there's not even
A
paying
lot.
attention to what you're eating or how you're eating it. Or like you said, presentation. Like I've seen some of the dishes you post and it's like presentation. It's like beautiful. That's why I think people like to go to certain restaurants, because they actually get to see their food and enjoy. But even in North America now, everybody's on their cell phone anyways in restaurants. You watch, you're like, you're not even enjoying your nice meal. You don't even know what you just ate because you're on your phone, which has to affect and I see it energetically, but you must see it all the time. The three nervous systems connecting, they just go out of whack. They don't know what they're doing. Am I eating? Am I watching TV? Am I talking to my friend? And everything gets scattered
Yeah.
in their system.
So, and this is what causes people to gain weight. I have had so many women come to me and say, I don't understand. I have grilled fish. I have broccoli. I eat salads. In the morning, I have yogurt with, all brand fiber cereal, and I'm gaining weight. And I'm like, okay, but tell me, how do you eat it? Oh, she goes, oh, I have my bowl of cereal in 5 minutes because then I'm out the door. And, it's kind of like, and how do you eat that fish? Well, I eat it in like a plastic thing in front of my office on the stairs. And I'm like, well, there is your answer. Your cortisol level is rising up so much that, you end up bringing it up. Resistance to
Well, because you're
insulin is
downing.
provoked by it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so often this is why people they end up really craving carb rich food. So the presentation has a lot to do with that. It's 50%. 50% is how you eat it. 20% is what you eat. And the other 30% is how you feel about it. Like
Yeah.
the satiation level comes a lot from your mood, from your stress level. So if people could reprogram themselves to count a little less on the calories and look into the pleasure, eating for pleasure, eating rather than eating emotionally, eating to truly nourish your body. Think about your complexion. If you're going to eat spinach and green, vibrant vegetables, your complexion is going to shine through so much better than going to buy a $90, face cream that's probably not going to work for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then people end up wasting money in all these areas that they don't need to, and it's simplified. And that's what I like. You simplify it for people of how to eat, how to live, how to engage. And so I know we are coming to an end. I'm just like, every time I do these shows, I'm like, how are we already at the end? There's so much more. Let people know, where do they find you again? How do they connect with you on Instagram? How do you like to connect? Can they direct message you on the website? What is the best way to link in with you if they want more
So I
information?
interact with all of my audience. I answer absolutely everybody, especially when it's about getting informed and helping out. The easiest way to find me is definitely on Instagram. It's my favorite platform. So it's at Ingrid Mare-Kenny. But I also can be reached by email. So if you go on the methodmc.com and click that contact us, there's a contact button just for me. And I'm the one reading my emails and I answer them. So just bear with me, give me a few days, but I will always answer.
We're going to make sure too that all the links you guys will be able to find. So don't worry, you'll be able to connect with her. If you had one really like message that you want to leave people, a food for thought, what would that be?
Follow your intuition. Definitely. Whether it's being a parent, whether it's being a lover, meeting the right people, your plans, your job, follow your intuition. Whatever doesn't make you happy is disposable. Always remember that.
I love it. You know what? I've had so much fun with you today. I'm so glad that you were able to come on, because
I've loved it.
you are exactly right. And if everybody can remember to follow your intuition and know that life is always changing, as my friend says, on a dime. And if you're willing to do something and change course direction on a dime, you're going to really start to understand that your life will unfold and you can have all of your dreams and visions, exactly like we were talking about today, whether it's your mission, that's your life and your career, whether it's your health, your vitality. So please check Ingrid out at The Method. You will not be disappointed. She's got some really funky, cool products there too that will help you also achieve very healthy, very natural, and a lot of tips and tricks. So I want to make sure that you check her out and join us too next week. We are actually having Katrina Boss back. She's talking about her tantric book and tantric intimacy, which you all loved her when she was here before, but she's getting ready to hit the road. So we thought we'd squeeze her in one more time before she travels the world. So again, check out Ingrid, check her out on Instagram. You'll love it. You'll love to see the posts, and we will catch you again next week on the Tracy L. Clark Show.